I've said to a lot of people that if you lower your expectations, you'll be much happier. And what I mean is that people are really kind of demanding. But when I thought about it, really, if you take your expectations down below zero, right? What happens is you become grateful for everything. And you know what? That makes you a much better person. Makes you a much better person to be around. Okay? Because you're grateful for everything, right? You love everybody. You love everything. You're grateful that we're flying through space on this little blue marble. And it's amazing that we are even alive and can talk to each other and masturbate to as much porn as we really want. Free porn, by the way. But a lot of people that know me, some of my friends I've had for, over 10 years, know that I can be brutally honest, right? But they like that about me, right? And for me, it's always about knowledge is freedom to me, or it's the potential for freedom. Even if I know I can escape jail, you may not want to escape jail. We had some guys escape jail recently from Florence prison, and when they caught them, they looked like they were in bad shape. You got to have more than a plan of escape. You got to have a whole other lifestyle. So, and I grew up Mormon, which is a cult, right? There's also the Catholic cult, and I'm sure there's a bunch of other cults, Heaven's Gate and that sort of thing. But I really did not like being duped, and I really hope, for all those Mormons out there, I really hope that the whole Joseph Smith thing is true. I really do. That Space Jesus came down and his twin brother talked to Joseph and let him know. The problem is execution, right? Mormons are terrible and they're hypocrites, and but that's a human thing. That's a very human thing. And but we want to believe, and that's what really this video is about, is belief. So in 1993, let me preface this real quick. If you know that 9/11 was an inside job, Dick Cheney, of course, who else could do it? If you understand that it's an inside job, start looking for other instances where it was convenient that the things were at the right place at the right time to do the most terrible things. So I'm into audio, and one of the most terrible things in audio for the audio industry was the invention of DSP. Now, I want to take DSP back to the 90s, okay? The first computer I got was a Cyrix 133. It ran at a blazing 133 megahertz. It even had the built-in coprocessor, I think. I'm lying at this point. But it had the built-in RISC processor, which was the newest thing that said it could render colors better and do all kinds of fancy things. Well, one of the things that it came with was a little sound card. And in the sound card was a program that had DSP, right? DSP. So DSP, digital sound processing, okay? And then what it did was it showed a user, and because this is me, I'll just do big ears. So, and he was sitting in front of a computer. We'll do a computer like this. And then it had a bee, bzz, 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 like a little honeybee. And you could make the bee go over my head or in front of my head. And this was the demo. It was showing you how amazing you can put the image wherever the fuck you wanted. And again, we're talking about I bought this computer in 95. So 1995. And it was put together. I got to give a shout out to Q Daddy, Michael Quesada. He was my mentor when I was in Hawaii. He actually was selling a subwoofer, and the way that he described it was a bit technical. And then when I went over to go pick it up, he quizzed me, and I passed the quiz. And so he took me under his wing, and he showed me a lot of the ropes and showed me a lot of the stuff. Some of the stuff that he learned, okay, was he went to the AutoSound 2000, right? The AutoSound 2000 guys, what's those guys' name? Richard Clark and David Navone. I met David Navone. He's a jackass, and he's pompous, and which is typical of the audio industry, because these guys have figured out how to snow people. Now, as much as I say that, okay, I don't mean it for trash talking. I'm talking about that's personal experience. But one of the things that they did was the AutoSound 2000 tech briefs. The tech briefs are quite thick. So when I worked at Lightning Audio, they actually used to sell the booklet for about $100 and you can read it. Well, Michael, he showed me those books, but he said, look, let me sum up 2 things in audio that are huge. What's the word? I guess mystery solved, or, things you don't want to know, right? If you're selling audio equipment, you don't want to know these things because it eliminates a lot of options and a lot of money off the table. So one of the things was DSP. So they showed that you only have 2 ears, right? But what DSP does is it allows the image to appear anywhere. And that also includes forward, backward, up, down. You can make the image appear anywhere. You close your eyes and you don't know the difference between a live performance and a recording. That's the power of DSP. And that's what it created back in the 90s. The problem with this is that people in the industry that are in charge of making audio equipment realize that this would kill their industry, right? Why sell people 2 speakers when you can sell them 4 speakers, right? Surround sound, back to old quadraphonic. I actually have a quadraphonic demo tape track, 8-track tape, right? And you're like, quadraphonic, that's the way to go. Well, that was before DSP, right? And quadraphonic was actually pretty unique. You guys can watch some videos about it. It's a really unique thing. It's actually 4 unique signals that was recorded in a certain way. And basically it's just a 4-track instead of a 2-track. However, you only have 2 ears and you can eliminate all that with DSP, okay? So DSP allows you to put just 2 speakers and then it does everything. Now these are 20 to 20, right? So then the derivative off this is a subwoofer, right? This is full range. So then you got your sub going from 20 to like 120, and then you got your mid from 120 up to like, say, typically about 4 or 5K. We'll go 5K. So, and then tweeter is 5K up to 20. Even though men can only listen to about 16K, while women have smaller, what's called tympanic membranes, which is your eardrum. They're the only ones that can listen up to 20K. So with that said, people that made receivers didn't like this because, again, why would you just sell 2 speakers when you can sell, surround speakers? And then the worst one, this is the worst one I hate, center speakers, right? So where this is now a center speaker. It's not a TV anymore or a monitor. Center speakers. Oh, that's where all the vocals come from. And this is the dumbest thing in the world. I don't know why people believe this, but if you go to any church, even a shitty church on a Sunday, there's groups of people. There's tons of people. There are tons of stupid people there. There are tons of stupid people at every church. And you don't need to go to church because there's no God. Now, if you're going for other reasons like hookups or socializing, that's fine. That's fine. That's different. I don't have any problems with that. But if you're going because you believe in God, you're an idiot. Okay, you shouldn't be doing that. Go do some charity for people. That does something, right? Because you can't be a good person. You can only do good things. All right. So what good things are you doing in this world, right? Jesus said, love one another, but yet he also hung out with hookers and thugs, right? So what does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean? It means you can be a good person all the time, right? Or really what you can do is good things all the time. But these people right here, these surround sound people, these are evil people, right? These are 9/11 people. They've been lying to you. They've got you hoodwinked. You don't need all those fucking speakers, man. Now, do you like them? Do you like loud stereo? Sure. Who doesn't, right? But you got to understand these people's point of view. They're there to make money. They're there to sell speakers. They're there to move units. They're still selling receivers. Is that insane or what? Like me, in the 90s even, I had a PC. I had a Rockford Punch 60 that I got used for $60, and then I used for 2 years and flipped for 120. Like, you can run the whole thing off even just stereo speakers. And there's a speaker. There used to be a magazine called Speaker Builder Magazine, and I would love to put it all on PDF and show you guys. But you really got to get in there and read and think. You have to really think. Back to my mission about scandals and just shysters. And so one of them was Dolby, right? Dolby. I've been to the Dolby building in California. It's really cool looking. Yeah, they're in charge of everything. Really, what really Dolby makes their money from is licensing. That's what they really make their money from. So, and George Lucas saw this, right? George Lucas, Star Wars guy, and he said, you know what if there was a George Lucas brand of standards, right? And that's what THX is. THX, if you want home theater, this is what you need to have, THX. And again, that was actually just a huge moneymaker for Lucasfilm. And what they did was, in the beginning, you had to submit your receiver to see if it met the THX standards, right? And then it would be rejected and they wouldn't even tell you why, which is fucking crazy. But that's part of the sales, right? You have to try harder, right? He wants to be the hot chick, right? So you don't know what they want or what so you just make it stronger, So now it's like 100 watts per channel, 100 by 5 or whatever the fuck the standards are. Even though, real quick, the center channel is, I don't want to say muted, but it's got limited passband. So the passband is from, I think 100 up to like, I want to say 10K, but it might be 15K. I don't know. Let's assume the best in people and say it's up to 15K, or even we'll just say, fuck it, go all the way up to 20K. But it's limited to 100 hertz, right? It's only meant for highs. And then for some reason, I think they kept the left and right still at full range because some people still had the old, Kenwood or Pioneer 3-ways, right? And they knew that they would integrate that. So those are typically full range. And then the surround speakers are totally limited, I think from 100 to 10K. And that was because they wanted to get away with using cheap speakers back there, right? The cheapest fucking possible single 4-inch mid that plays from 100 to 10K, right? But they could sell it to you for $50 or $100. Okay. See, what's funny is I've forgotten a lot of this stuff and I don't really think about it because I've put it behind me. But then I belong to a lot of these forums, like where it's like budget home theater, right? And these guys are, this is the one that cued me off tonight. It says, hey guys, I'm looking for a budget center channel that's under $400. I mean, you fucking shithead. Who the fuck spends $400 on one speaker, right? Now, I know there's a lot of assholes out there, and I know they do their little whatever. I grew up poor, and what I could afford was books. What I could afford was studying and reading and realizing that these guys are all full of fucking shit. And they're ripping you off, right? And so that's why, I started Robot and all that other stuff. So anyways. So back to THX. This is George Lucas. This is Moneymaker. This is just money. So now George Lucas has set the bar for what home theater should be, right? According to George Lucas. And it's not really even George Lucas. I'm sure he farmed it out to somebody, probably from Dolby, from some people that he had that worked at, Light, Sound, Magic, or whatever the fuck whatever the thing that he did with Star Trek and Star Wars, whatever the fuck. Anyways, these companies that wanted the THX symbol on their fucking receiver, not only did they have to up their game, but then they had to pay a royalty back to Lucasfilm for every unit they sold, right? And so, again, so now you have Dolby playing this game, which, again, Dolby was really just famous for filters. They had a hiss filter that you could put on. It was like Dolby B, Dolby C, and what it would do is get rid of tape hiss, right? And that was convenient. And then they're like, how else can we make some more money? And then that's when, these two started working together and they come up with these standards. And now you have this bullshit where people think they need to have a fucking $400 center channel just to sound decent. And that's such a lie. So the other problem is THX, right? And this Lucasfilm, Lucas now sets the standards for how sound should be mixed. And here's the big one, encoded. That's the big one, is how it's encoded. And so one of the older standards is AC3. Now I'm sure they have a Sony version and a Dolby version and a THX version and all this kind of stuff. It's basically all the same thing, because what happens is these guys realize what kind of money they're pulling, and then they just create their own version of it. And again, all they're doing is pulling the wool over the customer's eyes. The customer wants to have an immersive experience. I understand that. And so then they want you to feel special. Also, Lucasfilm and Steven Spielberg, these are the guys that predicted $100 movie tickets, right? Again, Greedy motherfuckers, pieces of fucking shit. It's like, you got enough money. Can't you do something nice for the world? No, they can't. So, anyways, back to stereo stuff. Okay. So now you have the THX standard. Of course, this was back when home theater was nothing compared to going to the theater, right? And that's where Lucasfilm and people like Steven Spielberg come in, and it's like, well, if you really want the real experience, you have to go to the theater. And so they also got theaters to up their game and also promote Dolby and THX and all these other standards that they have. That also sells speakers. That also sells equipment. That all sells all kinds of things that, and again, there was no standards. So it's sort of like a thing where you show up, what's the word? Like if you go back to the future, right? Or not, I'm sorry, not back to the future. If you go back in time, right? The first one I had this was, I think it was a Yankee in King Arthur's court, right? And it's this guy that's like a blacksmith or whatever. And he's like from Connecticut or some bullshit. And he goes back to King Arthur's court and he invents the fork. Ooh, it's whatever. It's a kid show. But the power of that sort of thing of knowing this information and then going, how's the word? Rigging the game in a new market so that all the money just falls into your lap. It just falls your way. And then when you create these standards, oh my God, now you have every theater in America, all over the world, complying to your fucking standards and paying you for not just every system, but probably for every movie. Every time you use the THX logo, you got to pay money. So, and that's what it takes me back. DSP, real DSP, and not this bullshit that they had on the receivers. Like, this is what it sounds like in a jazz hall. This is what it sounds like in a stadium. That is the worst uses of digital sound processing. Digital sound processing now, and you probably see something similar to this. I still have not seen anything where you can move the image where you want it. Like if you want it 5 feet in front of you, or if you want it 10 feet in front of you, or if you want it 20 feet in front of you, what would that feel like? What would that look like? Except for this little demo. I don't even know the name of the sound card. It was probably just a generic Chinese whatever. Because the computer that I bought, of course, wasn't a gateway or anything like that. I couldn't afford that. I think it was like $800 for a Syrix 133. But anyways, in that demo, though, that really blew my mind. I know I'm rambling here, but I want to get back to QDaddy. QDaddy showed me, too, that the AutoSound 2000 guys, they did 2 demos, which was one, they showed how you can get DSP complete imaging from 2 speakers. That was it. Because you have 2 ears, that's all you can listen with. You don't have 3 ears, you don't have 5 ears, you don't have 7 ears, right? And if you do, you need surgery. But the other one was the RTA. So RTA, real-time analysis. That's what you see. Basically, it's 20 to 20K, and then you want to get as flat as possible, and you want to score this. And if I think it's a 40 is perfect, right? And that's what Richard Clark specialized in his Grand National. That he had to retire. He was like the Tony Hawk of fucking stereos, right? They had to retire that Grand National so that other people could have some trophies, right? And so that's when he got into the consulting and information business. But and I think it's still valid too. The other thing was Richard Clark put out a $10,000 bounty on anybody that could do I think it was a 12 or a 20 double-blind test if you could tell the difference between audio equipment, whether it be amplifiers, audio cables, CD players, all that kind of stuff, because they're all the same. They're all the fucking same. And I know I piss a lot of you guys off when they go, what's some good RCAs? I'm like, RCA brand RCAs, the ones at the dollar store. Those are fucking fine. They're fine. It's just wire. It's just fucking wire. And you're not even going 20 feet. You're not going to hear a difference. And even if, let's say you go 100 feet or 100 yards with an RCA, are you going to get some degradation? Yeah, that's called resistance. And it's just going to be a little quieter. That's it. That's the only thing that's bad about it. Are you going to get some weird no, you're not. It's just a wire. Quit fucking blowing your money on stupid shit. RTA. So a 40 is perfect. And then I forget which one. Q Daddy told me, he says they took compressed air, just regular old compressed air, and they put it on the microphone, and guess what it scored? A 38. So that's perfect, right? A 38, fucking 38 is really close to fucking perfect, and that's compressed air, right, out of a nozzle. What the fuck are we doing? So why would companies support that? Again, that goes back to, why sell them 2 speakers when you can sell them 5 speakers or 10 speakers? You guys got to understand that these companies are not charities. They're not looking out for you. They want to sap as much fucking money out of you as possible. These are the worst kinds of people. And if you've gone to a shop, you've typically met those people because that's who makes the most money, is the shops, right? Because I know that I can probably build a, what is it? JL, we'll go balls to the walls, 13W7. I can get a JL, something of performance, for about 150 shipped, right? So JL definitely can get it for cheaper than this because they're JL audio, right? And they're also, this is with paper and fucking carbon fiber laminate and all the fucking bells and whistles that you fucking want, right? And they're selling this for $1,500. Of course, it's retail, so it's plus tax. City fucking loves this, right? The government loves this because they're getting money. The dealer loves it because it's costing JL, say $150. They're probably selling them to dealers for probably $350 if you're a big dealer, and then probably $450 if you're a small one-off guy. And typically, the big dealers have to sign typically it's $100,000 minimum. I'm sure it's probably more now. You have to do 150, maybe 200,000 minimum in order to get this pricing. And if you don't, typically this is like, they do onesie twosies straight from JL. And then, they sell it for $1,500, right? And then they go, well, you're a good guy. I'll give it to you for $13.99. And again, nobody cares, right? Nobody from the government cares because they're getting, this is Arizona. It's almost 10% on sales tax. So they're getting a 10%, 10 points off of that. So there's nobody looking out for the consumer. There's nobody looking out for that. And then, and really these guys are all about harvesting humans, right? And what are humans most valuable at? Their work. And if you can trick them into all these tricks, they end up fucking working for free and then they die, right? Most people die in poverty, right? Most people die owing money. And then there's like 5% of people die even, right? Like that's where I'm at, where if I died, there's a life insurance policy and my wife gets paid and it's more than the debt that we owe. And, then she basically breaks even, whatever she retires. And then there's this 1%. The 1% grows exponentially, exponent, 10x, right? These guys are the ones that support all the 99%. They support them with their ideas. They support them with their inventions and their industry. They're the ones that support the world, is these 1%er guys. And their wealth grows exponentially. Now, going back to Occupy Wall Street, are these guys bad? Do they sometimes do bad things? Of course. But, there's money. There's lots of beautiful, delicious money to be had. And it's something simple and stupid as buying a $400 fucking center channel. It's wrong. It's bad. It's terrible. But, they say buyer beware. And if you get raped and AIDS and all that other kind of stuff, and if you lower your expectations low enough, you will be grateful for everything. So I'm grateful for you guys. I thank you for your support. If you do want to support me, look at, the people that I promote, go talk to them, go see them. I love you. I'm tired. It's fucking late, but stop paying so much for audio. Educate yourself, even if it's just for fun. Even if you just want to save a little money, educate yourself. Okay. And if you want to hit me up for links, pay attention to my blog, pay attention to my videos, pay attention to what I'm fucking telling you. Love you guys. Talk to you later.